Yes, everybody, welcome back to Talking Wolves. Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Today, I'm giving you some updates on the latest transfer news and rumours and some exclusive news on a potential kit for Wolves next season as well. As always, be sure to hit that like button down below. Subscribe to the channel as we approach 17,000 subscribers now. It'd be great to hit that milestone over the summer as well. Of course, on the channel, loads of stuff coming up. We uploaded our podcast earlier today, end of season podcast, and we've got loads of little bits coming up. And big up once again to our friends over at Full Time Prints. We've got these fantastic Wolves prints up for grabs. I've got the Ruben Neves one, recreating that goal against Derby as well, but loads of other little bits and pieces on there, goals, commentary, team lineup. So use the discount code on the screen and obviously in the description down below as well. But yeah, before we get onto the transfer news, I'll talk a little bit about the potential kit for next season. There's lots of little pieces of the jigsaw that Wolves are still yet to announce ahead of next season, such as season ticket prices, which are pretty much imminent now. I'd assume in the next day or so we will hear more about those. I was having a discussion with Dean, who's a subscriber of the channel, but I speak to him very often about little Wolves bits and pieces, and he discovered one or two things, and I've sort of dug into it a little bit more and found out some more news about the potential Wolves kit for next season. Now, firstly, the sponsor itself. I'm fairly certain AstroPay, it's the end of their deal now, so it looks like we're going to have a new sponsor next season, although that is up in the air. Originally, it was reported that Visit Angola may well be the sponsor, but I understand that's not going to be the case now. But a new supplier is up for grabs. Castor won't be the Wolves supplier of next season. I heard lots of little whispers throughout the year about who it could be. Umbro was one of those, and another one that I heard of is going to be some sort of in-house company. Now, that looks like it is going to be the case. It looks like, as it stands, the new supplier of Wolves is going to be a manufacturer called Sudu, S-U-D-U, which is going to be part of the Levy's company who Wolves have continued their partnership with. So to try and give you a bit of a backstory, obviously, Vinnie Clark, who was a big part of the Wolves commercial team, a little bit of a Marmite character, to be completely honest, due to one thing or another, but he brokered the Castor deal. And to be fair, the early part of the Castor deal, you know, it went quite well for Wolves, but Wolves had a lot of control over the manufacturing of their own replica things, and then Castor was really in charge of the pro and the athlete type kits and training wear for the Wolves first team and academy and women's team and so on. Vinnie Clark then moved to Levy's to join their commercial team, and it looks like now that he's going to basically be continuing his partnership somewhat with Wolves. Now, to cut to the chase, Sudu, as it stands, are a company that are owned by Levy's by the looks of things, and aren't officially launched as of yet. So if you go onto their website, it's just a website which has got like a members sign up if you wanted to. They've got little bits and pieces on their Instagram, but nothing as of yet. But you would assume that this is going to be the Wolves and Jeff Shee's baby, really, to give Wolves pretty much full customization. They've ran pretty much their own merchandising with the Castor thing. They created all the replica kits, so Wolves will have that, and I'm assuming now that they've got a supplier to create the athletes versions for Wolves. Now, what this will give for Wolverhampton Wanderers is a lot more flexibility on kits in terms of manufacturer and even in terms of design, so we could see some real classic designs from Wolves here. The only big downfall is that it's not a sort of proper established brand like your likes of Nike, Adidas, Puma or whatever. It is quite a new and up and coming thing, so there is that risk for Wolves, but with that risk there could be a lot of reward for the club, both for fans in terms of how it looks and both financially as well. Now, in terms of the actual kit itself, what I know of is that we will obviously have a gold, potentially all gold kit, including the shorts, next season, and then the away kit will be all black. With that, I'm not sure if it's both or one of the two. The logo, the crest of Wolves, will be central as well. It's not going to be on the left breast. It will be a central logo, which will look fantastic in my personal opinion. So something a little bit different. And as far as I'm aware, things have already sort of been taken. Obviously, players are out on holiday now, so all the press shots and stuff have been taken for those kits, and it's just a matter of time before something is officially released. But I've been told Sudu, S-U-D-U, are favourites at the moment, and I'm probably 80% certain that they could be our next kit supplier. So let me know your thoughts on that. I know there will be some people disappointed that it's not a more well-established brand, but I'm excited to see what Wolves and Sudu come up with ahead of a new potential partnership. Hopefully I've not rambled on too much about that. Let's move on to the transfer news now. We had a little bit of news yesterday from John Percy of The Telegraph. Once again about Pedro Neto. We saw him reintroduced into the Wolves lineup, Wolves setup on Sunday against Liverpool. He got a few minutes. Could see straight away, still got that creativity, still got that flair, still got that presence on the field. Also, as a very quick side note, he's in the Portugal national team squad for the Euros, which I'm really surprised about, to be completely honest. But fantastic for him. It shows how much Roberto Martinez thinks of him, and alongside him, Nelson Semedo and Jose Sarr in that lineup as well, which is fantastic to see. But yeah, Neto now, Wolves have slapped an asking price of around £60 million, which I think is fair. I mean, if we can get anywhere 50 plus, I think I'd take that. Neto's an unbelievable player. I mentioned it on the podcast. I mentioned it in previous weeks. These numbers that he was having before the injury were phenomenal. But his availability is a real concern. And for a club like Wolves, where you need to claw every chance and every opportunity you can get in terms of points, in terms of chances in front of goal, when you haven't got a player of Neto's quality, he's almost a luxury player. And Wolves, as a club, at the minute aren't in the position to have luxury players that are just sat around or sat on the injury list. So if you can get 50, 60 million, I think Wolves, I have full confidence Wolves will be able to reinvest that in 2, 3, maybe even 4 players that will really strengthen the overall depth and quality of the squad, which is what we need, really. So Manchester City, Newcastle United, the two teams really mentioned at the moment. Newcastle, they've got real reservations. I think in terms of quality at the moment, Newcastle are obviously ahead of Wolves, but they're still in a similar situation. They can't really afford to be paying 50 to 60 million on someone that they may only have for 50% of the season, whereas City probably can. So we'll wait and see. I think he's such a phenomenal player, Pedro Neto. So we'll wait and see to see what happens. But in the Euro squad, so this could be a saga that drags on towards the end of summer, which isn't really ideal for Wolves. A player that may well be one of the first signings through the door at Molineux, though, is Che Adams. It looks pretty likely now that he's going to be signing for Wolves on a free transfer. Lots of rumours about that towards the end of last week. The Athletic followed it up saying it is expected now for Che Adams to join. Wolves have been chasing him for 12, if not 18 months now, and didn't make the move in January. Didn't really want to be paying the money that Southampton was still demanding for him. Southampton are still in the chance of coming back into the Premier League, but Che Adams hasn't been a part of their squads throughout the playoffs. I think that means it's pretty obvious that he's going to be moving on. He put a post out at the end of the season as well, which seemed like it was coming to the end of his time at St Mary's. So I'm not against this now, to be honest. I think 6 months ago it was something I was a little bit dubious about, but I think that the struggle that we've had with squad depth has made me appreciate these potential signings a little bit more. So I think Che Adams on a free is a very decent piece of business from Wolves. I think he'll understand and appreciate that he is a squad player. But there were times this season where we could have definitely done with a player like that. FA Cup game against Coventry, when, no disrespect, we had to play Nathan Fraser and Leon Chiwomi. A couple of away games this season, Villa away, Burnley away, where a player like that and with that experience, we would have definitely been in a higher position in the table. So certainly not against this. I think it's a very good signing on a free transfer for Wolves. Goalkeeper rumours as well have come up over the last few days. Of course, we really don't know the situation regarding Jose Sarr going into next season, but we have been linked with the Burnley goalkeeper Arijanet Muric. Interesting one, this. Obviously 25 years of age. Burnley aren't going to let him go for cheap. I think there's him and James Trafford. I'd assume Burnley will try and keep one of them, but there's money and value in there in both of them. What I like about Muric is that I think his ball playing ability is very decent. From watching him when we played at Turf Moor, I was there, and I just thought his ability on the ball was very, very decent. But is he a better shot stopper and overall goalkeeper than Jose Sarr? I'm not 100% sure. So it's definitely an interesting discussion for Wolves to have. What Jose Sarr lacks in ball playing ability, are you going to gain that? Are you going to lose that in a shot stopper in someone like Muric? I'm not too sure. So it's a bit of a gamble for Wolves, I think, regardless of what happens, with Jose Sarr. But Muric at the moment sounds like could be one on the Wolves list of goalkeepers. We've been linked with keepers throughout the year, so there could be a few in there, I'm sure. Daniel Podence as well. We thought potentially his time at Olympiacos had come to an end. We've seen crying in one of their last home games of the season, but been news coming out, and obviously now they're in the Europa Conference League final as well. There's been news coming out that Olympiacos still want to buy Daniel Podence. They've got an option of €6 million in the loan deal with Wolves to buy the Portuguese winger. I don't know. I think if I'd be very surprised if they don't take it up. I think 6 million in this current market for someone like Podence, he's scored a great amount of goals for them as well. I think it's been his best goal scoring season of his career. So I think Olympiacos would be very daft to not take that up. So be interesting unless Daniel Podence has got his eyes set on anywhere else, maybe even Saudi Arabia. I don't know. And I think Wolves could claw a bit more money than 6 million as well. Personally, with him having such a good season, so we'll wait and see. I don't think he's got a future at Wolves, to be completely honest, but we'll wait and see. Do let me know your thoughts on Podence in the comment section down below. Interesting stuff as well coming from Sweden. Apologies if I get this pronunciation completely wrong, but the Swedish club IFK Norrköping have confirmed on their website that they've been in talks for some time over a potential collaboration with Wolves, and now they're taking the first steps in getting to know each other a little more closely. Now, former Wolves caretaker manager, now current Pathways manager, Steve Davis is over in Sweden, alongside Hans-Peter Senana, who's the player marketing manager at Wolves, alongside some under-21s players as well. Aaron Keto Dewaya, James Storer and Cam Candola are all over in Sweden right now. So it's very interesting to see how this affiliation turns out for Wolves. Some quality young talent coming through it in Scandinavia and in Sweden at the moment. So Wolves, once again, maybe trying to get their heads up on some of this talent. But yeah, I'm never against moves like this, to be honest. And, top flight of the Allsvenskan, the Swedish Football League, some of our lads can go out there and play some football. I think it's a really decent level to get them some men's football at. And, yeah, not a bad place to have an affiliation with. One player that may be moving on, though, this summer is Louis Molden, goalkeeper that we'd signed from Man City a few years ago. He's had a pretty productive season, to be fair, out on loan. He had 2 loan spells, one in the National League with Rochdale, and that was going really well, and sort of got booted up to towards League One with Northampton. So his contract at Wolves is running out. There's interest from Bolton Wanderers at the moment in Louis Molden, who's only 22 years of age. You would assume Bolton maybe a little bit closer to where he's from originally in Manchester. So that might be a player that moves on this summer. But guys, hopefully you've learned a little bit today about all sorts, transfers and obviously the kits. Do let me know your thoughts. Hopefully I didn't ramble on too long about the kit situation. But in summary, yeah, it looks like it's going to be Sudu, who are going to be the new kit supplier for Wolves. All gold home kit, black away kit, possibly a centralised badge. Yeah, let me know your thoughts. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, guys. If I get any other info, I'll be sure to let you guys know on the YouTubes. And follow us on all the social medias at Talking Wolves. Until next time, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll catch you all very, very soon.